Hey everybody, Tafony here once again, and today I'm rambling about something a little bit different. It is on the fourth Tafony EP titled Toaster. It is coming out on January 10th on 1X Records. It'll be on anywhere you can think to find it. It is a hardware focused digitone for 95% of the voices and heavily processed in modular album. It is a little bit different than my other ones, but will be extremely familiar for sure if you listen to the first three as well. But the biggest departure is this time with vocals, this time with lots of digitone and not Eurorack voices as much. And I just want to talk about what went into recording it. I'm not here to push it or I don't know. I just want to hopefully give some insight on what I did to record it and what goes into using hardware in the studio, at least in the way that I do it. So yeah, and the quick housekeeping we should probably get out of the way today. I just wanted to say happy holidays, happy new year, happy all of those year-end things to you all. This channel has done a lot better than I ever expected it to do in 2024 when I started this. I don't think I have had a full year with it yet, but we did nearly 100 of these freaking rambling about videos, so thank you for joining me for that. Thank you for sending me hate mail. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, all of those engagement crap. I appreciate it, and I always say in some of the other videos that if I could get one thing out of YouTube, it would just be the community that we built. So all the people who have DM'd me, even if it's just to ask questions that I pull out of the manual for you, I really enjoy interacting with the hardware community, I guess, if that's weird. So thank you all. Happy New Year. Happy all of those holiday things to you. I also want to say, I understand if this video isn't necessarily for you, if you want to just see some of your rack modules or whatever. Like I said, I did nearly 100 of these videos this year, so definitely check out one of those if it suits your fancy better. So we're going to talk about the EP again. Now, if you've been here, a little bit of backstory. I did 3 EPs last year at Rain City Recordings with Emily. She was amazing. She was able to proverbially polish the turds that I brought in, and when I say brought in, I those first 3 EPs were in 3 different sessions, but I didn't even bring in anything. We just booked a day in the studio, and I brought samples in, I should say. It wasn't completely empty, but I brought the samples that I wanted to use in on SP404, I believe at the time, or emailing, or both. But just sat down and went okay, I'm going to write a drum track. We'll record that in. I'm going to write a synth voice track. Record that in. We're going to write a lead. Okay, we're going to record that in. We'll write a synth voice for one part and a lead voice for another, or maybe we'll just tweak it a bit, and then we'll go through piece by piece and sort of create the skeleton of a song on the fly while we were there. And going into the first session, I was this is going to totally bomb, and it turned out really good, or at least I was really happy with. It's not groundbreaking or anything like that, but I just for how unprepared and how spontaneous it was, I was really happy with how it all turned out. And Emily was able to. Emily's not a electronic music engineer, I guess, and Emily did a great job of just really bringing some I don't know, acoustic recording techniques to using Pro Tools to really make it sound huge, and it really did. And I'm super happy with how those first 3 turned out. So I have been sitting on lyrics for a long time, and I'm sort of wanted to I lyrics are my favorite part of music, and I always really wanted to bring them in, but I didn't really know one, how to bring it into this, and 2, how do I perform it. And I think that's going to be a work in progress for everything going forward, but I also think I want to do lyrics on everything going forward because I really enjoy writing them. But yeah, the first ones are instrumentals, and then this one has lyrics, and some of the lyrics that are on here have been in some of them pushing 10 years, some of the lyrics that made it in here. So I keep a huge backlog of just random notes that want to turn into songs, but never did. But so anyway, I'm off work in my day job for the holidays here, and I wanted to do another EP, this time with vocals, and I reached out to Emily, but Emily was busy. So I reached out to Max from Legacy Creative House, who worked on some of Hermit's stuff, who was posting about wanting clients for the holidays, what have you, and he was available, so that was super exciting, and also, you know, super different. If it's not like scary enough to like do vocals for the first time, like doing it in front of someone you don't even really know was like horrifying. I talked about lots of this in the Rambling About Mental Health video, so I don't need to go over it again, but like, yeah, when it comes to vocals, I was just like, I want to do something that isn't singing or rapping. And like, I think I actually like, so if this sounds kind of weird and stupid, what actually sort of spawned all of the recent jump back into it was I was listening to the Idols song Pop Pop Pop, and you know, I loved Idols, and then I didn't listen to Idols for like a long time. I didn't listen to the album they put out this year, not for any specific reason. I just like it totally blanked my mind. And then they put out a version with Danny Brown, and I listened to that, and I'm like, man, this song is really good. So listening to that song and the original, and just like the sort of post-punky delivery that Joe does on everything, I'm like, man, like I really like that would sound good over electronic beats, and it sounds great over in its own context. But I was just like, man, like I could try that, like, and so I did, and I didn't hold a candle to his delivery. I'm way too monotone, way more nasally, but I like that style, and I think it really suits some of this music. So yeah, if you need any of these songs, just email me. I don't know, like when I say, like, if you want to hear them before it comes out, I have a Google Drive of it all. So I'm just going to go through and basically say, like, everything was Digitone or Ultra Kick, and sometimes a combination of the two, and then heavily processed back through modular. So if I can go through in order, and one of the funny things about the order is it ended up basically going backwards in order. It's like I came in and tried to rank everything by how confident I was on it, and ended up with like this was the one that I was like most worried about, and ended up landing first in the track list order and being recorded last. And yeah, some of these songs, especially this one and one other one, ended up like, I also am like, okay, I love that Idols song and I love Youth Code, but I could never attempt to do the Youth Code lyrics. But then when I'm hearing this back, sorry, I could never attempt to do the Youth Code delivery, but I definitely hear some of that like dark, heavy, hardcore ambient like on here. So yeah, I've got these. So there's lots of processing that I'm gonna not demo for you right now, but we're gonna hear here. So I've got this pad sound, just sounds very dark, ambient-y, right? So then these like perky, almost like, yeah. And then FM drums. These things sound so good. Yeah. Sorry. But and then so this is going to be the case for like all of this album was, or this EP, just taking a 4-bar loop and extending it to its greatest lengths, right? And then, you know, these songs also ended up being a lot longer than the other ones too, which, you know, having vocals is something that's, you know, really helpful in terms of stretching this thing out as far as possible. So yeah, that's Hear a Distant Voice. That one, the vocals, I really love like arpeggiated or just mangled, sliced, glitchy vocals. So that one, the vocal tracks, we ran everything back through the data bender, back through Sauvage Begard, and then Overseer and Performer just to like mangle it. And then Max did an awesome mangling or a nice blending of it to just like, you know, you still keep that fundamental, and then it just like crescendos into this like splash, and it sounds really good in my biased opinion. So That's the first song, Distant Voice. If we go down to Southbound, again, all of these are 4-bar loops. And this is sort of like, now that we're done, after everything's done, I'm like, this is kind of where I think I excel. It's like, not excel, but like 168 BPM sounds insane when I was making it, but then we're in the studio, I'm like, I think this is kind of where I want to be, right? And as much as I like heard Proto-Martyr and all of those like post-punky stuff in my vocals, when I'm hearing the instrumentals, I think it's got to be like super accelerated. Like I think, you know, I really like the dark ambient stuff, but I think going forward I want to do stuff in this territory. So again, we just do like taking away and adding of stuff that, and then this one had Ultra Kick on it too. But yeah, the other funny factoid about this one is the lyrics are actually for Each Other's Mother song that they didn't want to use. So I wrote them like 3 years ago or something now for something totally different. And when I hear it back now, I can kind of hear like the melody to the song that was originally written for in there in a little bit. And then when I first recorded, I was like, oh God, I need to like change my delivery. And I'm like, no, you know what? I actually kind of like how it sounds, like kind of tongue in cheek. Like there's a melody that I'm hearing that isn't there. And, you know, that might not even be something you hear at all. But I thought that was funny and kind of made it sound cheeky, I guess, now. This one, LNWTST. Last night we let the sludge talk. This is a reference. The title is a reference, and the lyrics are also a reference to a meme that I saw that I can't freaking find now, which is the stupidest thing. It was like it was like a picture of like somebody was boiling Barks root beer or something, like, you know, those stupid I've got that dog in me like Barks memes, I think, and they had like boiled like a bus bin full of Barks root beer. And then anyway, somebody commented on it, they're like, oh, last night we let the sludge talk, like letting the Josh talk, but it's boiled root beer. Anyway, I thought that was hilarious, but I have not been able to find that stupid meme ever again. So if you know what I'm talking about, please, otherwise, not that anyone's going to listen to this, but anyway, the original idea was that I wanted the kick to be doubles, like a heartbeat, which is also another really stupid idea. This thing is full of stupid ideas, but I just like, I don't know why. I just thought that would be a fun idea for a concept. So this one, on the actual recording, we just like jumped back and forth between the two synth voices. So they kind of clash on top of each other, but throughout the song we just kind of went like, here's the one. I think the verses have this over it. And the recording process was basically that of like, track the drums, sometimes with, sometimes without the kick. Like, Max was doing some overlaying of the Ultra Kick on this one, I believe, where, you know, we recorded all of the digitone drums as one track, and then a separate track with the Ultra Kick to overlay it. That might have been for a different song, that wasn't this one, but, and then we'd bounce it all back through the Euro rack and then track in, blend that back in the end, and it sounded really good in my biased opinion. I loved glitching out some of these things at the very ends on some of those tracks. They sounded awesome. Here's one that I was most confident in going into and least confident in coming out of. I'm happy with how it turned out, but the vocals, it's funny hearing these back unprocessed now. Like, it sounds so muddy, where Max made it sound so full and so tight, right? Here, there's some of that dark ambient stuff in there, right? I mean, if I could be youth code, I would. On both members' sides. I wish I could sing like that. I wish I could produce like that. Man, these FMs, like, Which machine am I using here? Oh, I'm using preset BD Busted. Yeah. Just... Oh, I love it. I love it. Anyway, I was most confident on the lyrics and the vocals for that one, or going into it, and coming out of it, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's not the greatest delivery. It's fine, but you know, it could be better. Anyway, let's go on. The last song is Traces. I did actually have a 6th song here too, but you know, doing 6 songs in like a 6-hour session is absolutely insane. But this is Traces. I showed my buddy this, and he said this was the strongest song on it, which is interesting. Again, another 127 slower one, but trying to do a melody on this kick. And then the B part goes like this. And this has a big crescendo of explosion of modulation at the end. There was a lot of just tracking this that was just like, okay, hit play, bring in the bass. Again, we're taking a 4-bar loop and stretching it into every molecule, right? And I liked how that one turned out too. So there's also samples on all of this, and I don't know if I should, for copyright reasons, not mention where all of them came from, but there's a sample from New York when I was there in 2018, which is kind of crazy to think that's like 8 years ago now. Ouch. If you've listened to my stuff before, you know there's lots of New York subway samples. I don't know why I took so many when I was there, but yeah, when I was like 20 years old, I thought it was really cool to sample the New York subway. Anything is better than that one train. There was another sample that didn't make it on there. There's a sample from... There's a sample of Lightning Bolt at the Pearl in Vancouver. Chip and Dale was talking about housing, and I was recording it at the time, and I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to use it, so that's in there as well. There's a sample from Hazel. I hope Hazel doesn't mind. I hope Hazel doesn't find out, I guess. But it's really cool how it turned out. That's the one that's on Traces. Max did this crazy pitch shifting whirly effect on it, and it sounds so good. I'm so happy. I'm over the moon with how that part turned out too. And then sample from Cujo on Distant Voice. There's the scene where Cujo walks up to the car and it's like, and then the protagonist, she looks out the window and she has a crack and she's like, fuck you, dog. So that's that. What else can we talk about? I think you should hear it if you would like to. I'm working on doing some music video of some sort. Music video is tough, man, especially for something like that. What to do with it. But yeah. The cover is at a SkyTrain station. There is a lot of them. I almost did the Minor Threat / Rancid head tilt thing for it. Let me see. But then I was wondering if that might be too cheesy for even me. But that's the cover. Black and white, like all of the other EPs, with me on it, like the first one, because I wanted to sort of... Here's the artist crap that nobody cares about it. Like, I wanted it to sort of seem like the first EP, because doing vocals again this time on the 4th round, it was sort of like, you know, returning to, or it's similar to a new start, you know, and Arrested Development reference for you. Yeah, so similar to that first one in the, you know, the instrumentals in the, but, you know, also sort of, you know, marking a new line in the sand, I guess. Now that vocals are here, it kind of changes things significantly, and there's a new production and all of that, which, yeah. This comes out on January 10th, and I'm super happy with it, working on music videos. So any of that, any questions, all of that, you just let me know what you think. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about it other than thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'm Tafony. I'll talk to you soon.